I hate that Secret Lair is working so well. Well, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie. I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day. Today, we're going to have a conversation about Secret Lairs. Just a quick reminder, we are opening a box of Mirrodin, the original Mirrodin, at 10,000 subs. So if you enjoy the video, I hope you'll stick around. We're going to talk about Secret Lair today, and I'm going to try to have a positive take. I've been kind of disappointed in my videos over the last couple of days. I'm trying to find some positive conversation to have, and somehow I landed on Secret Lair, which is absolutely wild because, as you know, on this channel, I have spoken very angrily about Secret Lair. I'm not a big fan of Secret Lair, and I'm kind of in that camp that Secret Lair is not the direction for me and Magic the Gathering. But as I look at Secret Lairs and Magic the Gathering's new thing, it's hard to complain about it. It's hard to say that it hasn't been successful, and we're going to talk about all that. Don't click away, don't get mad. I hate making the video as well, but don't get mad about it because we're going to talk about it right now. So Secret Lair is and was a massive shift in Magic the Gathering's ecosystem. It has increased radically over the last year or so, and we have almost 80 Secret Lairs this past year in 2022. But regardless of my opinions and regardless of the public conversation on the internet about Secret Lairs, the secondary market value of these things is increasing, which suggests to a lot of people that it would be a success. If you wanted the product at release, you had the opportunity to pick it up, and now post-release, that value is moving upwards as opposed to a lot of the other things in Magic the Gathering, where the value is moving downwards, and a lot of the other things in the entire TCG industry. So if you look at the singles and the sealed cards, the sealed packs, there still seems to be a lot of interest in these things post-release and post kind of going out. I was kind of the mindset originally with Secret Lair that would be one of those things that you would just buy if you wanted it, and then it would just kind of be dead on the market because everybody had the opportunity to pick it up who wanted it. So a couple quick questions. Is it greedy for Wizards of the Coast and Secret Lair? Yeah, it is. They are essentially selling singles at market value, sometimes incredibly much higher than market value. Is it greedy? Yeah, it is. Is the quality of the cards pretty horrible? Yeah. These are some of the what are these? These are the Galaxy foil ones that just came out. The quality, though, it's crap. It's bendy. The biggest one I thought this past time was the Christmas one, or the Happy Holidays one, where you open up one pack a day for December. The quality on that was really, really bad. Some of the worst card quality I've ever seen in a trading card game. So the quality is crap. Yeah. Is it different and hard to understand for old Magic the Gathering fans like me? And is it hard to wrap our brains around and hard to digest? Yeah, it is. When Wizard of the Coast said that Secret Lair was the collectible product for Magic the Gathering, which they said in their Hasbro reports, the president of Secret Lair, the president of Wizards of the Coast said that Secret Lair is the collectible product for Magic the Gathering. I cringe, and I still hate that. I still hate that statement. But my emotions cannot come into this. And when I ask the next question, I have to remove my emotions. Why is it successful? Well, number one reason I think it's successful is because of the quantity of Secret Lairs that are being released. It's an astronomical amount, and I actually have a prediction that next year we are going to see double the amount of Secret Lairs, upwards into the 200s maybe of Secret Lairs. But because of the amount of Secret Lairs that we see, it's impossible for the consumer to keep up with them and always be looking at the new drops and be familiar with the new cards. And so then 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, when you're playing at the table and you're, whether you're playing Modern or Commander or whatever format you're playing, and somebody plays this new flashy version that you've never seen, you're like, oh my gosh, that artwork's so cool. That's such a cool card. you'd say, where can I pick that up? And you have to go to the secondary market. It's not like a release product where you're paying attention to spoiler season and you know what's coming out and you're opening packs to chase something. You end up seeing this on the back end of the release when the only availability of this is the secondary market. And so you have to then go to the secondary market to purchase those things. The other thing I think with that quantity is that they don't display super well. They're not things that you really want to put on the back of your wall. So people who just buy for that sealed collection type thing, they're not really looking at secret layers because they don't have that sealed premium, which in turn it lowers the amount of these on the market because you don't have people who are really investing in the sealed product of secret layer anymore because A, there's so many of them, and B, they don't hold that sealed premium. And then the last kind of side of that, of the quantity of secret layer, is the amount of research that's required to go and buy these things is extreme. You have to then look up the prices, you have to evaluate the prices based on maybe like the first foil version or a non-foil version or whatever it is. And they're kind of hard to predict the value of these moving forward. And they have that kind of question of, I need that specific card. And if you don't need a specific card of them, typically you back off of them and you don't purchase them, which again, you don't back off. Most Magic players don't back off and not purchase a box of a set because they're not looking for a specific card. If they're gonna purchase a box, they end up buying a box because it is the newest Magic the Gathering product. But with Secret Layer, you just don't have that happening. So the quantity actually works well for Secret Layers because they are just completely overwhelming the community with the number of products they have. Number 2 is the secret card, and I go back and forth on this because I don't want to like the secret card because I just think like it's kind of like a feel bad if you didn't get it. But the secret card is actually one of the reasons that Secret Layer is such a success. It's genius. It's absolutely genius to add this extra value in the secret slot that everyone knows is going to be there, but also like it might not be there. So maybe you're like, man, maybe this is the time they're not going to do it, so I'm not going to order. But then you see it post-release, you have FOMO, you have, I guess, the opposite of FOMO. You missed out because you see the partitioners or the slivers and you're like, man, those are really good cards that I wish I would have ordered. And so it brings this kind of allure to the product, that FOMO allure, where it's like, I don't want to miss out on what else could be. And oftentimes that card is what pushes it over the edge in terms of value. Oftentimes they price these things at the value of the secondary market singles, but then that special card kind of pushes it over the edge in terms of the value. So that secret card is an absolute genius inclusion to this thing. And then the last reason why I think that this is successful is simply put, people like crazy cards. People like the flashy variants to put in their decks, their commander decks or their modern decks or whatever it ends up being, even like pauper decks. And again, like there's negative to this too. Like I wish some of these flashy variants were just variants at rarities inside of booster boxes. That's what I would prefer. But if you take a step back from your emotion of this, it's actually why this is successful. There is a demand for the product, the flashy era, the flashy kind of shininess of these cards. So again, taking a step back, Secret Layer seems like it is actually a success. Now, that success in this market might affect some other things that we all love. I mean, you know, the booster box, the LGS, there are negatives attached to this, but in a vacuum, Secret Layer is actually very successful. So now you have to ask this question, what does that mean for you? Whether you be a player or a collector or an investor, how do you engage with Secret Layer? Well, for players, this is super obvious. If you are a player and you are looking for a single or a card and they have a Secret Layer that is of that version, you should pick it up because typically the Secret Layers are priced at or below the market price, slightly below the market price. And this is a great opportunity for you to get the cards you need, and then other cards that you could then sell at release, or a couple weeks after release, to make up the money and make those cards cheaper, especially when you have that secret card in there that oftentimes sells for as much as the drop was. So if you are a player, taking the risk, I guess it is still a pretty big risk, at that card is actually, in my opinion, a pretty good chance that you will be able to get the card that you want for cheaper than just picking up on the secondary market. We'll get into some of the negatives in a minute, but that seems to be a good bet if you don't mind waiting for the cards to arrive. If you're an investor or a flipper, that kind of group, this is a volume game. I think there's still a lot of money to be made if you've got that kind of volume where you can spend kind of a ridiculously large amount of money to make not really that much money. I think the win is still there. Capital is expensive though, and I think there's better ways to use your money. Particularly, I think other games or other things, there are better opportunities for you to flip and utilize your money to make money. But there is an answer here, and that is that you should be safe if you have the high enough capital to buy 4 or 5 of the drops, something like that. At release, you should be able to, increase by 20 to 30% of your money, which for a flipper or for somebody who invests in product, it seems to be a pretty stable place. Now, I will say that the quantity of sold listings is very low on these secret layers. There's like 1 or 2 secret layers being sold a month of some of those older secret layers. So if you have the ability to park money in things and allow it slowly to come back at a profit, I think Secret Layer is a safe kind of bet. Obviously, this is not financial advice or anything like that, but the sum of the whole of Secret Layer would say that the value increases in that 20 to 30% standpoint, and then you have outliers that are super high and outliers that are super low. So I would say the sum of the whole is a investable product. I do not particularly think myself, I would not put my money into that, but I think the value is there. Now, here's what really I struggle with is the collectors. If you're a collector of Magic the Gathering and Wizards of the Coast comes out and says, this is the collectible product for you, I don't particularly see that. I still struggle with this idea that secret layers are the collectible product. And maybe I'm just old. Maybe I just like the idea of hard to pull chase cards and booster boxes being the collectible product, or old reserve list cards being the collectible product. But for me, I really like some of them, like the collector decks, or the commander decks. I think the commander decks, the heads you win, tails I lose, was a fantastic thing. And I think it reminds me of the old commander decks that had a lot more time and energy put into them. If they did another commander deck, I'd be all about it. I know it took forever for us to get them. That's very frustrating. That's, not the way I want things to be. But at the end of the day, I think the product that we got in our hands, for those of us who did get it, I know they also canceled things, which is also very frustrating. But for those of us who did get it in hands, I think it's a really cool piece that I'm excited to own. I think some of these specialty foil things, like there was one of the dinosaurs, the Gilfs, I can't pronounce that word, Gilfs, I really like that one. I have that in my commander deck. It's a card that I really like that has a special foiling that I think is unique and special, and that's the type of thing that I would like to see from a Secret Layer product. As a whole though, the secret layers have very terrible quality, and I want my collector piece. One of the reasons I like old Magic cards is that they feel better. They are they feel like a collectible piece. They don't feel like they are cheap, like paper that is not like bends and looks like Pringles. So I don't like that side of it, but I do think there are some products that are really enjoyable in the secret layer. The last thing for collectors that I fear, and I know I'm getting a little bit to the negative side when I think about this as a collectible product, it's hard for me to stay positive about it, is a reprint. I really believe that we will see, maybe not in 2023, but maybe in 2024, a secret layer anthology that includes some of the secret layers that people may have missed out on, looking back into the time, things like the original one, the Dragon, and that kind of thing. And as a collector, that kind of thought that even the secret layer, once it, I think their slogan was like, once it's gone forever. That's kind of like a collector attitude attitude that you want, it would not surprise me if Wizards came out with some sort of anthology that utilized the same artwork with a different kind of foiling or something, a lot like they did with the Commander decks. I really believe that that will happen, which kind of leans me away from really collecting secret layers. You know, things that are collectible are not like put into and being reprinted in the same way. Again, for players, I'm all about the cards being reprinted. I'm all about them reprinting the same card in a different version or something like that. But just strictly reprinting it in like an anthology edition where you get access to it seems weird to me as a collector. So at the end of the day, it's a super interesting take with Secret Lair. I think the public kind of conversation of negativity, I think is fair. I think it's still greedy on Wizards' side. I don't like it as an LGS. I think it's a little weird. But I would love to hear your thoughts on those takes on the different natures and the different dynamics of Secret Lair. Hopefully you have yourself a fantastic day. If you do have a favorite Secret Lair, leave that in the comment section too. And then remember to be kind to the people around you as you go about your day and into this weekend when you're playing at your LGS. Just remember the people that you get to interact with, it matters the way that you talk to them and the way that you treat them. So remember to be kind to them, because you might be the first person this week that's been kind to them. That could be a big deal to them.